Hello, and welcome back to Shiksha Acosta. Today I'm going to introduce you to a unit called Solving Problems Involving Quadratic Relations. So this is actually a two-part unit. In the first part, you're going to learn how to solve quadratic equations and how to interpret the solutions with respect to whatever that equation is supposed to be representing in terms of the relation between two variables. And there's lots of little miniature skills that we're going to have to sort of develop on our way there. This unit is about solving problems that actually involve quadratic relations, and those, especially those that come out of your own life, by comparing it to the algebra that we've learned so far. To start off, I'll invite you to pause the video and graph these three equations using technology like a graphing calculator or like Desmos or something else. And then ask yourself, what do you notice? Well, when I graph these, this is sort of what I got. And I look at these three graphs, and I notice these are actually all the same. This equation produces this graph, which looks identical to this graph, which is produced by this equation. And it also looks identical to this graph, which is produced by this equation. So all three of these equations result in the exact same parabola, that shape, that special curve there, always formed by a quadratic relation. And so these three must actually be three different ways to write the exact same relationship, the exact same equation. And yet there is still one more thing to notice. If I look at these equations and then I look at the graph, I actually see a lot of numbers in common. A lot of the numbers in the equations show up on the graphs. For example, if I look at this is a quadratic equation, like they all are. Obviously, they produce a parabola. And this one is in vertex form. And we call it that because notice that the tip of the parabola, the vertex, has those very similar numbers. In this equation, in this form, I see -4 and -2 here, and I actually see those right here. Those are the x-intercepts. And finally, in my last one, I see that the y-intercept has this 0, 8 right here. The value of the y-intercept is 8. And I do see the number 8 in this equation. Sometimes two or more relations can actually create the same graph. And what that means is for any value of x, the value of y is the exact same for all of those different relations. We would call these equivalent relations because they create the same exact graph. Using the equation, we can actually even predict the points that will show up on the graph without actually, plugging in anything for x, with just looking at the equation itself by looking at some of the numbers that appear in that equation and understanding what they mean. In this unit, we will learn all sorts of things related to this. So we will learn how to go in between the three forms of a quadratic, and to clarify, that's vertex form, factored form, and standard form. And we'll also learn what each of these forms, what information they provide. If you like this video, please like, rate, subscribe, and join our mailing list. And you can find this lesson as well as practice questions, solutions, handouts, and more on our storefront. Thanks and have a great day.